Hello, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone present. My name is Rajiv, and today I will be introducing you to the many advantages of Zoho Sign. Alongside me on the panel, I have Sai Anand and Padmapriya from the Zoho Sign marketing team, and they will be answering all your questions during this session while I present. In this webinar, we are going to introduce e-signatures and digital signatures, discuss how they work, and show you what Zoho Sign offers as a digital signature solution. Before we dive into the webinar, let's take a quick look at the agenda. I will start off by explaining what e-signatures and digital signatures are, how they are different, and why you should be using them. Then, I will introduce Zoho Sign and briefly talk about the app's capabilities. After that, I will get into the main topics and walk you through the process of getting a document signed using Zoho Sign. Towards the end, if there are any unanswered questions, we can have an extended Q&A session to answer them. The basic question that you need to ask yourself is this: are you or is your business still using the old school method of signing documents? Consider this scenario. An HR professional has to send an offer letter to a candidate. First, they have to draft the paperwork, which will then need to be printed and sent to the candidate, who will have to confirm their acceptance by printing out their own copy and signing it. The signed offer letter then has to be filed by the HR professional for official record keeping. On average, this process takes about 2 weeks from start to finish. But this turnaround time can be drastically reduced if the entire process is digitized. Further, the pen and paper approach has its own set of disadvantages, like the fear of forgery and document tampering, potential damage to documents, and the huge expenditures on resources like manpower, space, money, and labor. That's not to mention how tedious repetitive paperwork becomes. If you're looking for a way to remove these difficulties from your business and scale operations as you experience customer growth, then e-signatures are a convenient solution. So what are e-signatures? They are simply a digital alternative to physical paperwork, and there are more reasons to use them than what we have already discussed. They are secure, just as legal as physically signed documents, provide ways to authenticate signers, and offer a measure of non-repudiation. By design, they provide increased security by attaching a digital seal or fingerprint linked to the signer that becomes compromised if the document is altered. Before we learn how e-signatures differ from digital signatures, let's take a quick poll. It is good to see that many are already aware of the difference, but for those who don't know, an e-signature is nothing but a digital form of your signature added to a document. However, it's not necessarily secure because it can be tampered with and its authenticity is difficult to verify. On the other hand, digital signatures are a type of e-signature, but by design they are more secure. Their authenticity and integrity can be verified through digital signature certificates and public key infrastructure methodology. As a result, digital signatures are widely accepted as a legal equivalent to hand-drawn signatures and stamped deal, but they offer more inherent security. And this brings us to Zoho Sign. Zoho Sign is a complete digital signature solution that is used by tens of thousands of businesses around the world in over 100 different countries. Zoho Sign helps you send, sign, and manage business paperwork using a simple but secure cloud-based signing process. This software has already saved businesses millions of dollars in administrative costs by helping them digitize their documents and contract cycle. ZohoSign offers all the key functions and features of a digital signature solution, along with several more sophisticated customizations that help improve overall productivity and efficiency. The entire solution is built on top of its own REST APIs, which enables you to build custom integrations and in-house apps using APIs and associated webhooks and SDKs. If you don't already use ZohoSign, you can click the link below to sign up for a free 14-day enterprise trial, which will give you time to explore the app in full. ZohoSign is built for enhanced remote collaboration. The app supports 12 different languages such as French, German, and Spanish and allows you to share documents and templates with your organization's users. You can also organize paperwork using folders and document types and set up automatic backup to integrated cloud service providers. ZohoSign offers custom branding options where you can add your company logo, redesign, and customize your email templates and establish a higher degree of trust with your signers. You can also set your legal disclosure, send documents from your organization's email address, and customize the experience of signers by redirecting them to a different web page after they have completed the document actions. You can rest assured knowing that ZoSign offers military-grade encryption for all your documents and data. We use the AES 256 method for storage in our data centers and the TLS SSL protocols when transporting data over the web. ZoSign is compliant with eSignature laws and regulations in place across the globe. To name a few, the app complies with the eSign Act and UETA in the United States, the PIPEDA in Canada, eIDAS in the European Union, the ITA 2000 in India, and the Electronic Transaction Act in Australia and Southeast Asia. In addition, we comply with common data security and privacy regulations such as the GDPR in the European Union and CCPA and HIPAA in the United States. Our compliance across borders is supplemented by additional measures such as multi-factor authentication and the ability to generate tamper-proof completion certificates and audit trails. You can authenticate signers by sending them an OTP or asking them to attach supporting documents. We also offer broad verification enhancements such as blockchain-based timestamping and trusted document timestamping, as well as personal and third-party digital signatures linked to a regional, national, or local digital identity. This means you can use qualified electronic signatures in the EU, Aadhaar eSign in India, and other regional identities through different service providers. ZoSign offers all of this at a very transparent and affordable price point. You can check our pricing details using the link at the bottom of the slide. ZoSign has native mobile and desktop applications available across popular platforms such as Android, iOS, macOS, and Windows. That means you can carry your paperwork wherever you go and conduct remote business in a seamless and synchronized manner. Zoho, on the whole, has a powerful suite of applications to power your business. ZoSign is a real value addition to the ecosystem and your stock of Zoho tools. That's because ZoSign is one of the most tightly integrated apps within the Zoho ecosystem. So, if you want documents such as sales agreements, invoices, and estimates to be signed across functions before they are sent out to customers, you can use extensions of the respective apps like Zoho CRM and Zoho Finance. Similarly, you can have your HR departments send and sign documents through apps like Zoho People and Zoho Recruit and do similar tasks to improve productivity across apps like Zoho Writer and Zoho Forms. You can access Zoho Sign right from the interface of all these integrated applications and start building out your workflows. We do offer third-party integration with ecosystems like Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 and with cloud providers such as Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, and Google Drive. You can sign documents directly from your mailbox in Outlook and Gmail, or your Sales Hub in HubSpot and Pipedrive, or simply connect ZoSign to thousands of other web applications via platforms like Zapier and Integromat. Here are the broad use cases across departments and functions where you can put ZoSign to use. Let's take a salesperson who has just been recruited by an organization. For onboarding, he will need to sign various documents, starting with his employment contract and an NDA. Once that's done, he will be required to sign the organization's policy documents. All this can be easily done online using an automated workflow in Zoho Sign. This is especially useful if he is working remotely because he won't have to show up physically to sign documents. I joined Zoho in the middle of the pandemic in 2021, and my onboarding process was entirely virtual. I was asked to sign all the necessary paperwork using Zoho Sign, which reduced the risk of physical contact. In short, wherever there is a document needing signature, you can rely on Zoho Sign. Okay, so now let's get into the demo part of this webinar. I will start by showing you how to sign up for Zoho Sign if you don't already have a Zoho Sign account. First, visit our website at zoho.com/sign from your web browser. If you already have a Zoho account, you can log in using your credentials. If not, click on Get Started to create a new account. So this is what your sign up and sign in pages will look like. In both instances, that is, when you have to create a new account or sign into your existing account, you can do so by entering your credentials, or alternatively, you can simply sign in using your Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft accounts. The advantage of this is that it helps you import your contacts and add users to Zoho Sign from your Google Workspace or Microsoft 365 accounts. Additionally, when you create a new account, you can choose the data center for your account to ensure your data is processed according to your regional policies. Once you sign into your Zoho account or sign up for one, you will arrive at this screen when you try to access Zoho Sign. If you are new to Zoho Sign and you would like to create an individual account, you can do that by clicking the second button. But if you are new, however your organization has an existing account, please ask your administrator to invite you. Before creating an account, you should contact your IT team to make sure there's no existing account for your email address. This is because only one Zoho Sign account can be created per email address. If all of this is done correctly, you will find yourself in the Zoho Sign dashboard as you can see here. On the left is the navigation pane where you can view and manage your documents, templates, sign forms, and access reports for your documents or change the settings of your Zoho Sign account. From the right side, you can expand the activity feed where you can track all your document activity in real time. To sign a document or send one out for signature, you can use the buttons in the center of the screen. If there are any documents in need of your signature, you can view them as well. So, let's see how to upload a document and sign it yourself. ZohoSign supports all popular document file types such as PDF, DocX, RTF, TXT, and XLS. You can upload up to 40 files in the document signature request, but the size of individual files can't exceed 25 MB and their combined size can't exceed 40 MB. Click on the Sign Yourself button, which will take you to a page where you will be asked to upload the document to be signed. Here, you can add the document in two ways. Either upload it from your local storage or import it from the one of the integrated cloud services, provided you have an account with it and have authenticated Zoho Sign to access your storage. Once done, you can enter a document name and click Continue. You can see the document in the document viewer and add your signature and other field of information to it from the bottom right corner just by dragging and dropping them. If you have not done so already, the signature wizard will help you create an electronic signature in your Zoho Sign profile. After you have completed signing the document, you can send a signed copy to a colleague or an associate via email. Now, let's look at how you can send document out for signature. Click on the Send for Signatures button on your dashboard. This will take you to a page where you have to add the document to be sent. You can add the document using the same method as I showed you before. Then you can scroll down to set up the sign workflow for the collection of signatures. Here, you can add the recipient details, assign a role for each recipient, and set a signing order. If you want to send separate copies of the same documents to multiple recipients for their signatures, you can also add up to 300 recipients in bulk. We offer four roles that can be assigned to recipients: needs to sign, receives a copy, in-person signer, and an approver. Please note that if a recipient's role is chosen as receives a copy, they will only receive the signed copy. You won't be able to add any field for that particular recipient. Similarly, approvers will only be able to see and approve a document, and you can't add any fields for them. To present contextual information to individual recipients, and perhaps for additional security, you can add personalized private message for each recipient. You can also enable an additional measure of security by sending an authentication code to the recipient by email, SMS, or an offline method. Following that, you can also configure more settings for the documents, such as request and document validity. Days to complete is similar to a deadline before which the document needs to be signed and returned. Once the deadline passes, the request expires and the recipient needs to contact the sender or the administrator for an extension to access and sign the document. Another key setting here is automated reminders. This setting is handy if there are multiple recipients as it sends periodic reminders to the recipients who haven't yet signed or approved the document based on the frequency set by the sender. After all these are configured, clicking the Continue button will take you to the document viewer just like we saw earlier. Add the signing fields using drag and drop for each signer. Something to note here is that except for the signature and initial fields, you can also format and label the fields by double clicking them. You can set the font, default value, field name, and other formatting options like font size, bold, italics, and etc. Once you have added fields for all the signers, click on Send will bring up a pop-up for you to verify the number of fields added for every recipient. Once confirmed, the document is sent out for signing. Once a document has been sent out for signatures, you can track its signing or approval status at any given time. To do that, click Documents on your Zoho Sign dashboard. In this window, you can manage all your documents in a list view. Click on the Actions icon to open a menu of actions you can perform on the selected document. Click on a document to track and manage it using the detailed view. Over here, you can track the status of the document for each individual recipient and perform actions like downloading the signed document or completion certificate. You can also mail a copy of the document, transfer its ownership, create a template, or a new workflow using the document. Now let's quickly take a look at how you can create templates and use them to send documents for signatures. This feature is very useful in situations where you have to send documents that are frequently reused, such as offer letters and NDA forms, to different recipients with little change in its content or formats. From your ZoSign dashboard, click on Templates from the left navigation pane. Over here, you can see the list of existing templates. If you want to perform additional actions to an existing template, just click on the Actions icon to open the menu of actions. To create a new template, click the Create Template button at the top right of the screen. Once you are at the template creation page, you can add the document you wish to create a template out of in the same way you would add a document for signing or sending. Configure the e-signing flow by adding the recipient roles. But please ensure that you have entered a value in either the role or email text box when creating the workflow. The next step is to add your signer fields and also the pre-fill fields, which can be populated when you send the template out for signature. You can also find the option to add a field template under the Actions drop-down menu. This helps if you want to add or import fields to the current document from an existing template. Once all the necessary fields are added, click Save to save the template. Then from the template screen, simply click on the template which needs to be sent out for signature. Now, you just have to fill out the details for the pre-filled fields, add the recipient details, and quickly send the template out for signatures. Before we wrap up this session, I want to speak about the various third-party digital signature integrations offered by Zoho Sign. You can enable them in the integrations window under the settings menu from your Zoho Sign dashboard. By default, Zoho Sign offers standard electronic signatures or basic digital signatures. But to meet certain local regulations, you will need to use the third-party signature providers to verify the signer's identity or obtain personalized digital signature certificates. To satisfy those regulations, ZoSign has partnered with the following service providers for digital signature solutions. Presently, for the Indian data center, we have eMudhra and other eSign services. And for the EU data center, we have qualified electronic signatures provided by Unataka, a qualified trust service provider. Please note that these integrations can be enabled only by the administrator of your organization. Some of the upcoming features we plan to roll out soon include more third-party digital signatures such as qualified electronic signatures via InfoSet in the EU, eSign for Singapore via SingPass, qualified eSign for the EU via eID-based signer authentication. We will also be supporting USB token signatures, which is presently only available on Windows on other platforms such as macOS and web browsers. We are also coming up with a feature that allows you to send documents for signatures via SMS for compliance with the 21 CFR Part 11 FDA regulations in the United States. Additionally, we are also adding many more integrations with our other Zoho applications, such as Zoho Directory, a secure platform for workforce identity and access management, and Zoho Checkout, which helps you collect payments from your customers while signing a document. We also have third-party integrations in the works with applications such as Salesforce, Pipedrive, SAP, and Microsoft Power Automate. Here are some important URLs to get started with ZohoSign. If you are stuck at any point while setting up your ZohoSign account, you can always find related help docs in the first link. We also have individual links for our solutions guide, integrations, and API guide. We also have a very own YouTube channel and video repository where we upload all webinar recordings along with how-to videos for all our native applications. If you have any other queries, ideas, or want to engage in discussions with our community of developers and users, you can visit our forums and participate. I have also given the links for you to read up on the legality of ZohoSign, its pricing, and request a personalized demo for your organization. If you have any feedback or need any form of assistance, you can always reach us by emailing us at support@zohosign.com. You can also visit our social media pages for the latest announcements regarding our product and engage with us there if you are a social bug. All right. My colleagues have been answering all your questions as I was presenting. But before I wrap up, let's see if there are any further questions or if there's any follow up to the questions we have already answered. Hi, Linda. Building a PCA compliant is a part of our product roadmap. We will be compliant by the end of 2022. Is Zoho Sign part of Zoho One? Yes, Jeff. Zoho Sign is part of Zoho One, and all the users of Zoho Sign can access the enterprise edition of Zoho Sign.
Hey, hi Rajiv. There's actually a bunch of questions here, so I figured I'd jump in and try and help you out, answer them. Okay, so I'm seeing a bunch of questions here. Let me just quickly take a shot at answering a bunch of them. Thank you all for the questions. It's been very interactive. I've been answering a lot of questions as Rajiv was presenting, and it really helps us to know that a lot of people need answers for these questions, and we're happy to provide them. So the first question that I am going to be answering orally is. So from Shane. So Shane's saying they would like to see a feature that allows them to sign documents in their dashboard. I'm guessing it's when you have multiple documents lined up in your dashboard and you would like to have a single button that helps you sign all documents in one shot. So a version of this is already available, which we call bulk sign. That's something you can access if you are already in Zoho Sign, where you have documents which have similar fields or rather identical formats. In that case, you can sign documents in one shot. But if you have various documents of different formats and fields, unfortunately, we don't have a provision for you to sign these documents in one shot at the moment, but it is something that we are building. We are looking to build as we understand it's a part of a no, it's a core requirement for a lot of businesses when they sign multiple documents with the same signer. So yeah, I can understand if it's something that you're looking forward to in Zoho Sign as you're looking to migrate from another vendor, but it's something we don't presently have. But I'm happy to let you know that we are building it, and when we do release it, we will make an announcement. All right. There's another question from Peggy. The question reads, "Can we review what other staff has sent?" Okay, so I'm not really sure I understood the question, but based on my understanding, I'm thinking you're asking if somebody within the Zoho Sign organization can see what other users have sent other people. If that is your question, then the answer depends. So if the person viewing the Zoho Sign documents is an administrator, then they would have access to sort of look at questions sent by other users as well. But if it is just a user, they don't have administrator permissions, then they cannot see other people's documents or even other users' documents. However, this can be changed if a particular user chooses to share their own documents with another user, which would then mean that they would have to reach out to the administrator, and the administrator would have to enable sharing of documents and templates across these users and so on. So I hope that was a good answer to your question. But if I misunderstood it, please let me know, and we'll try to answer what you have. Right. So another question comes from Corey. It says, when saving documents to a folder, where does that folder go? All right, so Zoho Sign has folders and document types to help you organize your documents. These are essentially just labels, so we don't really have an actual folder like structure like how you would see in a document management application like, say, Zoho Work Drive or Google Drive, as Zoho Sign is yet to sort of build that into the application itself, since we are more towards integrating with these cloud applications and helping you bring in documents and exporting them back to these locations. But inside Zoho Sign, the folders and the document types, what they ideally do is they label documents so that you can then sort of go to your documents list and filter them by these folder or document types to sort of see which documents have been tagged to a particular folder or a particular document type. But I understand that this might sound a little insufficient at this point, but we are actually actively building a proper organization mechanism where you can access folders, you can have document types, and sort of sift through your files, sort them according to folders, and sort of go up and down, navigate through these folders, and so on. So that is something in the works, but for now, it's not quite there the way you would want to see it. But like I said, we do integrate with various cloud storage providers. So if you have documents over at, say, OneDrive, Google Drive, Zoho Work Drive, Box, Dropbox, and so on, you can do that there, and then you can bring it into Zoho Sign, get it signed, and then export it back to these locations for you to keep your documents. Let's see what other questions. Alok has a question. How does the commercial go? Alok, I'm assuming you're referring to our pricing. So we do have the links to pricing in our in the previous slide. Rajiv, could you just go back to the previous slide? Um, you can click on the link from there's a slide that's up on your screen right now, and see how Zoho Sign is priced. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. So Pete has come up with a question. Once all contracts are signed, possible to store them in a Google Workspace file structure automatically? Yes, of course. So we do have an enterprise feature that is automatic cloud backup, where if you go and enable it, all the documents that are being signed inside Zoho Sign can be automatically backed up to a folder within your Google Drive as you have configured it. So I urge you to check out that feature. Just you can just sort of just search for automatic cloud backup for Zoho Sign. You will find it in our YouTube channel. The links are on the screen, as you can see. It has sort of a mini tutorial on how to get that done. All right. Okay, there's a lot more questions. I'm just taking my time to answer these questions and try and sort of give you guys a good enough answer so that you don't have to go hunting for a proper explanation later on. Okay, does Zoho Sign provide an approvals workflow? That is, users create folders for signature, but they go to an approver before they are sent. Oh, all right. This comes from Pete again. All right. So this question, I'm assuming what you're saying is you want a folder to which the documents you send out all land up in, and somebody who has access to that folder, say a supervising authority, takes a look at each of these documents one after the other, approves them, and only if they approve, these documents go out. All right. So this is something, it's not available as you have described it, meaning there is no folder to which documents land and somebody has to approve it and then they go out. Rather, what you can do is you can build the workflow in a way where the first person that is signing a document doesn't sign it but rather approves it. That way you can always send documents out to an approver first, and only if they approve it, the workflow carries it on to the next person who's actually the first signer in the document. So that is something you can just build just by just sort of playing around with the workflow. I think that's fairly self-explanatory if you learn how to sort of build workflows with Zoho Sign. But yeah, not that's what you are exactly asking for is not something we have available. All right. Next question again comes from Pete. Thank you, Pete, for all these wonderful questions. I hope my answers are helping you out. Can you only create a document template by importing a Word or a PDF document, or can you build the document in Zoho Sign, like creating an email template in Zoho CRM? All right. So this is a very good question. So right now, Zoho Sign does not have its own document editor because, like I said, the application helps you sign documents. But what we do have is integration with Google Docs. We have an integration with Zoho Writer, where you can build out these documents. We do have an integration with Zoho CRM as well, where within CRM there's an integration with Writer for you to build documents and templates. So if you have documents prepared in Writer or in Google Docs or in CRM, then you can make use of our integrations with these applications to start a workflow for collecting signatures or signing documents directly from these applications. We do have these integrations published with help documentation. So if you just explore our integrations tab, you'll find out how to go about it. Uh, so yeah, and you can especially in the case of Google Docs or Zoho Writer, you can always make changes to the document when a workflow is in progress to sort of try and make changes based on whatever negotiations that happen, and then try and reinitiate the workflow, which is not something you can do directly from Sign, but rather from these applications through the integration that is powered by Zoho Sign. All right. Good question here from Colton. Can you add individual disclaimers to be displayed conditionally on the specific? All right. Okay. So I'm going to split this into two parts. So if it is about adding disclaimers to the email communication that is being sent out, that is something I believe you can customize the email templates where you can add your own information. But if you're talking about the disclaimer at the footer, that's something that comes with Zoho Sign and that cannot be modified. But like I said, you can customize the email template itself, so you can add whatever information you need to add there. But if you're talking about the contents of a document, where in the document you want to have clauses and conditions based on the decision of a signer to appear and sort of move around, that is something that Zoho Sign does not offer. But what I would be able to suggest is you can try Zoho Contracts, which is our legal contract signing product. And that helps you manage your contract life cycles, build contracts, and send them out. And I say this because contracts uses Zoho Sign to get your documents signed. So contracts is an end-to-end contract lifecycle management application that helps you draft and maintain contracts, send them out, execute them, and so on. But it integrates with Zoho Sign to sort of help you send them out and collect signatures. And in that process, you can actually have the contracts be conditional and so on, the clauses be conditional and so on. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Okay, so here's a question. How is Hello Sign different from Zoho Sign? Look, so we do have a comparison page on our website. If you go to zoho.com/sign, at the very bottom in the footer, we'll have a comparison sheet of sorts that you can take a look at, and decide for yourself as to what suits you the best. Okay, so here's a question. Will there be a function to send SMS via Ring Central messaging? Is there a way to use custom domains within Zoho Sign? All right, great set of questions, James. Okay, so right now Zoho Sign does not offer integrations with telephonic or telecom applications that allow you to send out SMSs or make calls, but you can in the very future, in the coming weeks, we are actually planning to roll out a feature that allows you to send documents via SMS, but that is through an internal service that we have. So you don't really have the option to pick the provider. But that's just something that we feel might be useful to you. But if you want to sort of send this out using your own provider, that is not something we have in active development at the moment, but it is in our roadmap. So somewhere down the line, we will have it once we are done building what we are building right now. And the other question being, is there a way to use custom domains within Zoho Sign? Yes, there is the option to have custom domains implemented with Zoho Sign. It is currently in closed beta, so some of our customers and partners have access to it, with whom we are trialing the feature. But if you would like to be a part of that beta participation program as well, then do write to support at Zoho Sign, and we'll activate it for you to try out. Right. So Pete, you just asked if I mentioned Zoho Write. It's called Zoho Writer. So Writer is an application. It's a word processor similar to Google Docs, Microsoft Word, and so on. So that's part of the Zoho suite of applications that helps you build documents, craft beautiful ones. It also comes in with its own set of templates and so on that you can start with and build your business documentation out with. So yeah, it's called Zoho Writer. I'm just responding to your question with the name of the app so you can try it out. All right. I'm looking at questions to see if there are any unanswered questions. Okay. Can you explain folders option a little bit? All right. So again, as I was saying earlier, folders is just a label inside Zoho Sign that allows you to make it look like you're adding documents to a particular folder, but at the moment it's simply tagging it as part of a folder. There is no explicit option available inside Zoho Sign to open up a folder and see what documents are a part of it, but it is in the works. We are building that view where you can see it sort of like an explorer, a file explorer, to allow you to see that. But what you can do instead is to go to your Documents tab, and in your Documents tab, all your documents are listed and you will have different columns. So for the columns, you can set filters and use the filter to sort of see documents belonging to a particular type, particular email, particular owner, and so on. So there you have a folders filter as well, which you can then use to filter documents that have been tagged as a part of one folder or one document type, and use it for your own reference. All right. Here's a question from Jeremy. Is it possible to make pixel perfect signature forms in Zoho Sign? Say using an existing government PDF form and importing this as a base template and then adding signature fields on top of it. Absolutely, Jeremy. This is possible. All you have to do is just get the PDF document into Zoho Sign, and it decodes it in a perfect manner without actually, messing up the document design or template or the formatting, and just lets you add fields on top of wherever you need them to place, and then send them out for signatures. So we don't really, like I said, we don't touch the document contents or the document design in itself. Rather, what we add to the document is just the fields of information and the signature, which are superimposed on top of the document based on where you want them to be, and then built and sort of signed. So yeah, this is absolutely possible. It's just down to you to sort of add the fields, align them, customize them, and make them look neat and tidy, rather than sort of just dragging and dropping them and expecting the application to do its own thing. We are working on some AI capabilities that would do that in the future, but presently we have given the option for users to set the formatting, set the design, set the alignment of sorts for all the fields that are being added, and then making that work within the application with the document. All right. Mark has a question. When I forget to add some text on a document, it would be handy to be able to add that instead of regenerating the document and uploading it again. I understand this difficulty, Mark. So as I was saying, since Zoho Sign does not have its own document editing capability, what I would suggest is you can probably add this document to Zoho Writer or Google Docs, depending on what ecosystem you're using, and then use the Zoho Sign integration to initiate a workflow from there. So in that case, if you have something to add to the document, you can still do it inside Writer or inside Google Docs, and then reinitiate the workflow. Then sort of having to do it on your computer and then creating a new document and uploading it to Zoho Sign. All right. There's a question from Susan. All right. It appears Susan missed most of the webinar due to some technical difficulty. I'm very sorry, Susan, that it happened to you. But the second part of the question reads, I hope Zoho Sign is well integrated with Zoho CRM and Zoho Flow can be used with Zoho Sign. Absolutely. Zoho Sign integrates with Zoho CRM in a very deep and contextual manner that it allows you to sign documents from 8 different modules, integrated with custom modules, create custom functions, workflows, and so on. So please access our help documentation and try it out in a way that suits your business better. If you need help, you can always reach us at our support email, and we will have our engineers get in touch with you. Same goes for Zoho Flow as well. We have all the necessary triggers and actions that require you to connect Zoho Sign with different applications to sort of build seamless workflows that helps data flow from one application to another and have you use it to your best abilities. All right. Robin has a question. In a template, is there any way to pre-fill some fields with data and save it? So these fields are already populated every time you need to send out the form. As far as so far, I can only save the information, but have to paste it in each time I send. Uh, Robin, so in the Zoho Sign application itself, whenever you create a template, when you're adding fields, there's pre-fill fields which allow you to add information to the field to fill it in as you're sending the document out. And there are also normal fields for signers. Now, the advantage of pre-fill fields is that it can be mapped with other applications integration through integrations to pull data and fill in to these fields. But if you want some default information to be present in these fields all the time, what you can do is you can just simply click on whatever field you're adding, and there's a default value box that shows up on the right in the field properties where you can enter this information. That way, the fields are added, and there's always a default information that's present in that field, which if you want the signer to edit, you can enable editing, or you can mark it as read only, so that the signers always see the fields. It is already filled with some default information, but they can't edit it. So this is just something that you can try. It's very simple. Just add the field, click on the field, and then add the default value on the right side in the field properties, and then yeah, you're done. You can use the template how many ever times as you would like to do so. All right. Let me just quickly give all the questions a read so that I make sure I haven't missed out anything. Oh, there's a quick question from James. Is there a way to remove the Zoho logo from the mail templates? Absolutely. You can just go to your settings on the left side, and you can go to your email templates. Before you can do that, you can even add your logo instead of the Zoho logo to the emails. So what you can do is go to settings, and under settings you have organization details. Go to organization details, and then you'll see this option to add your company's logo. You can click on that, upload an image of your company's logo, and instantly that replaces all the logos across the email templates that you send out from Zoho Sign. So you can just go to Zoho, then you can go to email templates under settings, account settings, and you will find that the email templates all now carry the organization logo that you've added to your organization page, and it's replaced the Zoho Sign logo. So this is something you can do, and you can customize the rest of the template as well. All right. Just taking a look at the other questions that have come up, making sure I haven't missed out any questions. All right. Marx asked the question, will you add a feature to where we can add a text to a document before we send it out for signature? I believe this is the same thing as the question that you asked about pre-fill fields. So yeah, you can add fields and give them default values so that they have those values filled in already when you send a document out. So I hope that answers the question, but if your requirement is something else, do let us know. All right, Chirag has asked a question. NDAs often have different sections for different customers. Is there a way to upload one NDA template, add, remove sections of text before sending them out? All right, so this is something I spoke about earlier. So we don't have documents which have conditional clauses that can be sent depending on the type of the customer or the type of the deal. That is something that is available in Zoho Contracts, which is our contract lifecycle management application. So you can probably try that, and that uses Zoho Sign to collect signatures. So you can try Zoho Contracts, build out your templates in a conditional manner for all the counterparties to sign the documents, and then initiate a workflow from contracts using a sign integration to send documents out. All right. Basil, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. This has asked a question. Is there no way to customize the pop-up message that a customer receive when they enter a wrong email address? All right. I'm not sure as to what you mean by the pop-up message when a customer enters the wrong email address. Could you please elaborate more so that we can try and give you an answer that helps you? All right. I think I've answered pretty much every question that I've gotten. Okay, we've just received a couple more questions, so I'll quickly answer them. James has asked, can we have multiple organization logos? Uh, yeah, James, this is something that we are building right now. So I understand it's not available in Zoho Sign at the moment, if you have noticed, but we are introducing a feature that would let you have multiple portals, multiple organizations within Zoho Sign, and multiple profiles as well. That way you can sort of customize things every time you send a document out. This is very important, I understand, for people who are part of, say, multiple entities. So it's not presently available, but I can assure you that it is being developed, and it should be available very soon. All right. Okay. So Curtis has a question. In Zoho Sign settings, my time zone is set for US Central Standard Time, but the signature date on my forms continues to show Pacific Standard Time. How can I change this? All right, very good question, Curtis. To be fair, I'm not sure as to why this is occurring. Maybe uh, the date is being fetched from your computer, which is on a different time zone from the time zone in the profile, or if that's not the case, if the time zone in both your profile that is in your settings and in your computer are both the same, but it's showing a different time, then please check with your org administrator to see if they've enforced a common time zone across the organization, because that is something that can be done in the general Zoho settings through Zoho One. So if that is not the case and you still seem to have this issue which persists, do write to support at Zoho Sign, and we'll help you try and investigate this issue. Okay, Basil just explained to me the question that I couldn't understand. When a customer adds their email address to the signature, if the address is wrong, they get a pop-up that is hard coded. All right. You mean to say when you are adding an email address to a document that you're signing and the address is wrong, then they get a pop-up that says it's wrong. Okay, I can somewhat understand why this would occur. So in Zoho Sign, when you add a field, the field is sort of validated against some common formats. So when an email field is added to a document, what Zoho Sign expects from the signer is that they would enter an email address over there, and if the email that and it carries a certain format, that is it carries the at the rate symbol, it carries a dot something, a domain in it. If this format is not satisfied in the field and in the information entered by a signer in that field, then it automatically invalidates that field and says that they haven't entered the right email address. So long as they enter an email address there, it should work just fine. But if that is not the case, then it might throw an error, and that is not something that is up to us to correct. It's more like the sender of the document wants you to enter something in a specified format, so it's something that normally you take up with the sender. But if it is not quite what I've explained and I misunderstood this, do write to us with an example or a screenshot so we can understand this further and help you out. Okay, yeah, I got it. So you're saying they get a message saying, please contact your provider. So, all right, all right. So, yeah, I understand this. So, this is something where the sender of the document is expecting a very specific response and it doesn't seem to match with what the signer has entered. And as a result, Zoho Sign is not letting them proceed. So, yeah, I'm really sorry to say that in this case, it's not really up to us to decide, how this is acceptable or it's not. Rather, they should be contacting the document provider who are probably expecting something very specific and don't want to see something else in that field. So yeah, the provider in this case is the document sender. So I hope that answers your question. I feel like I've answered pretty much every question that's come up. All right, so I don't think there are any further questions. Uh, all right, so I think I'll pass this session back to Rajiv. So yeah, Rajiv, take it away from here.
Thanks, Sai, for jumping in. I think we can wrap up the session for today with that. Thank you all for participating. I hope you all had a lot to learn and take away from this webinar. Do watch out for future webinars and join us to learn more. Until then, this is Rajiv taking leave on behalf of Zoho Sign. Take care and have a great day.